Afternoon. This is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I'm here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. Put your questions in the comments now so that I can answer your questions. Today, I'm going to be talking about the benefits of the T visa. So, I have been working on some consular processing type work this morning because we got a T visa approval. And whenever our clients get a T visa approval here in the US, guess what? Their kids who are under 21 and unmarried get to come here on a visa and then get to live with their parents here in the US. So this morning I've been working on finalizing the paperwork for our the children of my client who got approved so that the children can join their parent here in the US to get started on life here in the US and move forward with being a family again and getting past all the negatives that happened to them. So I wanted to talk to you today about the T visa. Many people don't know about the T visa, they don't know what it involves. And so, because of that, many people miss out. So, I'll give you an example. I spoke with someone who they wanted to know their options to get the T to be able to get status here. And I usually ask very specific questions to get to the root of maybe what kinds of benefits could be available to them. And, when it came on to asking about their potential eligibility for the T status, I asked, did you ever have any very bad experiences with an employer? Initially, the answer was no, because a lot of people are intimidated by questions like that. And I do explain that at the beginning of the consultation that every question is geared towards an option. But then I started to ask additional questions. And so I asked, well, did an employer ever skip out on payments? And the answer was yes. And then when the individual opened up, it turned out they were trafficked. They were a victim of labor trafficking, and they did not know that this option was available. Instead, they thought they couldn't tell me that they worked here without a permit. They thought that they would get in trouble, or the person would get in trouble who trafficked them if this person opened up. But with my questions, as I was able to get this valuable information, and with that, this client has a very strong case. Um, Now, this can happen in any industry. It's not just about sex trafficking, because that's what's in the media oftentimes. The media, they'll push information about sex trafficking. But it's not, trafficking comes in different forms in different industries. So I've worked with clients who have been trafficked in the group home industry, the caretaker industry. That's where they have a home where they take care of either disabled or elderly individuals, residents. I have had clients who have gotten the T status approval because they were with their intimate partner who they didn't want to be with anymore, but this person was holding them hostage, not allowing them to leave the relationship. That's a form of trafficking. I have gotten this in the landscaping industry, and I've gotten this in the in the even athletes can be trafficked, right? It's about what you went through. It's not about um, you know it's not just, trafficking isn't just the way the media portrays it, or the way that even you picture it. Before I practiced this area, I did not realize that trafficking could be so widespread. that it could be in hotels, it could be in landscaping, it could be in any industry, it can be in nursing, right? It can be in any industry. It's not, about being on the seedy side of town, and this only happens in certain bad areas. This is happening everywhere, and immigrants are being taken advantage of because there's this narrative that you don't have any rights, and that is not true. So, this is where I want to educate you about T status, right? If you're in a situation where you're working for an individual or you're with an individual and they are making you feel stuck, they're making you feel like you can't leave. If you say you leave, maybe they start to scare you, then you could qualify for the T status here. Now, with the T status, you're able to get a 4-year status here that it is a path to permanent residence. And so, for example, with our clients, when the kids are able to join them here, and then they can carry on with their life and then explore whether permanent residence will be next in their future, because that option is there after the T status. So, we, for us, I know that the even the name, right? T visas for victims of trafficking, it can be very intimidating to some people. But know this, as the attorney, I do hold my clients' hands the entire way. I don't let my clients do any of that hard, intimidating work because I don't want them to have to relive what they went through, relive the degradation that they had to endure during their hard times. And some of my clients are still going through those hard times. So I and my team take on the hard work. We advocate for our clients all the way through all the steps to get them to their approval. It's really fulfilling, and I could have never predicted that whenever before I became a lawyer and I started to practice immigration law. I knew my dream was to help people, but I could have never imagined that I would have this level of gratification helping my clients change their lives. So, if you're going through this situation, give us a call. It is life changing. And this option is usually available to individuals who have no other options. So, get in touch with us and we'll be more than happy to assist you. Now, my schedule is filling up and I want to be able to help you before the end of the year. Let's get started at least. So, go to the link in the profile and schedule your appointment now so I can talk to you about your situation and then we can get started on an option. Now, what I do is I help clients in all different ways. The T status is just one of the ways, but one of the areas I focus on is to help individuals who are here. They may have overstayed already and they're trying to figure out the option to get the work permit and to get status here in the US. So, even if maybe you can't relate to this, but you want to figure out if there's another path for you, we look at all the options here. But I do want to talk to you about this one because it's one that is not very known. Not even a lot of attorneys screen for this. So that's another thing. Not a lot of attorneys screen for it. And because of that, a lot of people walk away from other attorneys thinking they absolutely have no options. But I look at all the options on the table. Now I'm going to answer questions. So put your questions in the comments so that I can answer your questions. Go ahead, put those questions in the comments now, and I'll answer your questions. Let's see here. So, can marrying a green card holder as an immigrant give you the green card? Yes and no, but let me tell you, it's a different path if you're marrying a green card holder You have to make sure your conditions are absolutely right to qualify for the green card while staying here in the US. Because if you're here in the US, you can't get the green card while staying here in the US if you've already overstayed and you're married to a green card holder. Your priority date has to become current. You have to maintain your legal status until at least you filed your adjustment of status application. I believe those are the two major requirements that you'd have to meet to be able to stay here. But those are the two requirements that a lot of people overlook and get themselves into problems. Can you file a remove conditions on your 2-year green card 30 days before it expires? Will you need to send a letter to explain why you're filing 30 days before expiration? You can file within 90 days before it expires. So you are still on time. The problem is if you file after the date expires, then you're going to have a problem. You may have a problem, but let me tell you this, better to get it filed, send your explanation in than not at all. Furthermore, if you're applying for a waiver, you can apply for a waiver. That means a waiver to apply without your spouse at any time before, during, or after um, the 90 days before it expires. Now, I am on Instagram, I'm on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and TikTok. What I am doing to be able to manage all the questions coming in is I go from platform to platform and I answer the questions as they come in. So bear with me. I'm going through Instagram's feed first to see questions there. Then I'm going to let you know when I'm on YouTube and Facebook, and then I will jump on to TikTok. So I'll let you know, but please put your questions in the comments now so that I can address your questions as soon as they come in. Okay, so I've entered the US through the border. However, I got married while I was married. I didn't know my wife had someone in jail. He came out and she told me we can't be together again. So this is very specific, and there may be solutions, but there's so many follow-up questions that we'd have to talk about here before we can figure out an option. So give us a call, schedule an appointment, and we can talk. We're located in Boca Raton, Florida, but we represent clients in all 50 states and around the globe. When I moved, I got in an accident and injured. Can't work, can't do anything. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm so sorry you're going through that. Just give us a call and let's talk about what happened. This platform is so informative. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm glad that you find it informative. That's exactly why I'm here. Good day. My mother filed for me from 2015, and I got confirmation from last October that my documents approved. And until now, I don't hear anything. So it's a 5 to 7 year process. So you might have another year or so to go. Um, yeah, before you hear anything. What about persons that have been involved in an accident and they are undocumented? So there's no relief if you've been in an accident and you're undocumented. But I would love to understand what your circumstances are, because if there are other facts along with the accident, then there's a potential for relief here. But I need to ask you my specific questions. What if the T visa is denied? What's next? Will you be deported? So right now, they are not just deporting people that have gotten denied for benefits. It just means that you're at square one. So they're not in the practice. It's not a policy for them to refer you to deportation. Can a charge be vacated and reverse deportation? Yes, that may be possible if you've had any kind of post conviction relief. and then they can go back and try to get the deportation, reopen the case, and then get the case terminated based on the new evidence. But you'd have to look at the charge first and have them reverse the charge. My 2-year green card will expire in June 2024. When I file to remove conditions, you should be working on that 90 days before. So at the within 90 days of expiration, then you're able to apply for removal of the conditions. But if you're applying on your own because you're separated from the spouse, or maybe you don't trust the spouse, they're mistreating you, then you can apply at any point. You can apply right now if you want to get a head start on the process. Is it possible to change J1 to the green card? Not just straightforward like that. First of all, you have to think about, do you have the 2-year foreign residency requirement? If you do, that's going to be a hurdle, because the 2-year foreign residency requirement means you have to go back to your country for 2 years before you can even change over to something else. No, if you have J1, say you're not subject to the 2-year requirement, then you can't just go from J1. You can't just say, I'm ready for the green card now, and then go over to the green card. You have to qualify in some way still, through family, through an employer, maybe even through humanitarian means, but you can't just jump straight from J1 to green card. I got an RFE, but I don't send it in my wife's birth paper. Could that be the reason for the RFE? So you need to read the RFE. RFEs are different, and it just depends on what they need. I'm a H-2B worker in the US. Can I file for employment-based immigration, EB-3? Your employer has to file that for you. But as long as your employer is willing and they take all the steps, yes, absolutely. Granted, you qualify in every other way. Is it possible to work on my SSN until I get the permit? If you are approved for a worker's permit, usually they want to see the work permit or some kind of approval notice to show you've been approved. But you can make an appointment to get it. But if you haven't been issued an SSN at all, you have to wait for all of that to be approved first. What's the processing time for travel document after your I-765 has been approved? So if you've gotten an I-765 and you've gotten it without the travel document, it may take another couple of months to get the travel document. If you got approval notice, the travel document is coming along with it, then it's all going to come on the same document. If you're divorced from an American citizen 2 to 3 years now due to irreconcilable differences, can you still qualify for status change? If there's some mistreatment, maybe through VAWA, but if the American citizen isn't willing to petition for you and they're not mistreating you, then your options become limited there. My sister interview was waived for I-485 4 months ago. What should she expect? She should expect, as long as she got the approval, she should expect the green card in the mail. Hi, good afternoon. My husband has received a medical notice in our marriage-based petition and is currently says waiting on case decision. What is typical at the next stage? So if you got an RFE just for the medical, it could be a hint that they're just gonna make a decision, and maybe all they have left to do is approve it. So that may be the next step. Receipt notices for affirmative asylum takes how long? Electronically filed asylum, right away, instantly you get your notice. With the paper notice, it's taking months and months. They're backed up on it right now. So I highly encourage that any asylum applications that you're filing, do it electronically if you can. I came to the US when I was 17 and my dad was a citizen. 20 now. Am I eligible for citizenship since I was 18? Talk to me. I think I saw you ask this question before. I have to understand, did you come in with your green card? If you came in with your green card and your parent was a citizen, you could very well be a citizen already, but I need to understand the facts here and timelines. I'm married 15 years. Wife won't allow divorce or file. Can I get a 5-year visa? So 5-year work permit. There's a problem here. If your wife, you're married 15 years, you're still with your wife. She refused to divorce you. She refused to file for you. She's holding you hostage. You need to get a consultation here because this could potentially be a form of mistreatment or extreme cruelty. I need to understand what facts are involved here. This is where it's important to schedule a consultation because this your wife is holding you hostage. If your wife, I don't know any well-meaning spouse who is going to keep you without your papers and then refuse to divorce you just to keep you in the same spot. That sounds abusive. So let's talk about it and figure out your options. Now, if you do qualify for VAWA, that's your path to get the 5-year work permit and then the green card. That's the ultimate goal, and you are going to be able to get the green card here. Let me see. If your wife is a citizen, you can apply for the green card right now. Um, let's see. My husband is American citizen. November 13th of this month, make 4 years we're married. Can I do citizenship? If you've gotten the green card, you've been a permanent resident for 3 years, you've been married to your spouse for 3 years, then you can move forward with applying for citizenship. I don't know what if you meet the other requirements, but if we're talking about timelines here, then you can apply within the at the 3-year mark. Uh, where can I call you? So go to the link in the profile and go to the link, you'll see the website. You can go there to call. You'll see the number. I'm also going to type the number here in the post. It's under immigration lawyer Sharifa. I got RFE for me, spouse, to show she makes enough, even though our tax transfers reflect that we do, then something is going on. Now, there is a tricky situation here where if you've taken out a lot of deductions, it reduces your income. So if your gross adjusted income is below the amount, it shows all your gross income, your wages, it all looks nice, but then after the deductions, it reduces your income. That's great for taxes, but it's horrible for the affidavit of support. So that may be the issue here. Sometimes that does get confusing for some people. Will your former employer be aware that you've reported them to Department of Labor? Absolutely not. It's confidential. So it is confidential. Now it depends, right? If you're reporting to Department of Labor and this is through the process of T status, we do this for our clients, so our clients don't have to do the heavy lifting here. But if you're reporting to them, it depends on the facts here. It depends on what kind of justice you want, if any. If you are just seeking the T status, they treat it very confidentially. So they're not in the business of calling the employer and say, you said, is this true? They take your statement and they do an evaluation. But keep in mind that an investigation is not required. They are not, any kind of correspondence is not required. So, you don't have to worry about it's as far as you want to take it, right? Because the Department of Labor is also there to look out for your best interest too. They want to make sure you're safe, but they also want to make sure you get your money back that you're supposed to get if you want to do that. So it's as far as you want it to go. All right, so now I'm on YouTube. Let's see. Is it true that work permits are being extended for 5 years? So should one renew for February 2024 or wait? So if it's time for you to renew, then renew. You should be renewing at least 90 days. I would say even 6 months before the expiration. To give them time, to give yourself time so that you can get your work permit in a timely manner. But yes, it is 5 years. Hi there, Judy. It's nice to see you. I can attest to the fact that you're a really great attorney. Please continue to give hope to the hope. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. So Judy says, you are right about this. Not many attorneys screen for the T visa until I found Well, thank you so much, Judy. I appreciate that. When you have T status, how can you help your kids who are over 21 in Jamaica if you're not able to travel back until you get? So you can't, children under 21 and unmarried qualify here. If you're facing a threat, so if the trafficker or the person who put you through this hell is threatening you, they're threatening your family, then that is, they don't have any age limits on that, and they will grant a T visa to family members who are either with you or outside of the US that are facing that kind of threat still. Can a son file his mom and underage sister together? Yes. However, keep in mind that that underage sister is not going to get through as fast as your mom. The mom, it's going to be 14 years for the sister. So it's be careful with that. This is where it's so important to make sure you have representation. So Rita, thanks so much, and you too. You too. Thank you so much. So Rita says, "Good afternoon. You are a blessing." That's all. Thank you so much. Um, all right, I'm going to go to questions on TikTok. Um, you are able to help people being detained illegally by ICE. So I do assist clients who are at any kind of stage of the immigration process, including those who may be going detained or going through immigration court. But I need to understand what your situation is to be able to assist. So this is where it's important to just call the office and let's see if we can schedule that appointment. My mom's papers were approved with the NVC. How long for the interview? So this means you probably got a documentarily qualified notice. You're looking at about a year and a half. What's the processing times on receipt notices on affirmative asylum? So it's supposed electronically immediately. Um, through paper, you're gonna see it in weeks. What is the due process for detained asylum or TPS seekers? So whenever you're talking about, that is a complicated question, right? With due process. It's not evaluated the same as because immigration, even though one is detained, it is not evaluated on the same level as a criminal process would be. So it's going to depend on the facts here. My friend applied for work permit since June and nothing yet. So it can take a while and it depends on what type of filing you did. I have advanced parole and I have one time and I've traveled one time and it's for multiple times. Can I travel again? If it's not expired, then sure. But just if you have an attorney, follow up with your attorney or make sure you get legal advice on this. Don't just leave the country because sometimes you leave the country, you end up being stuck out there. No work permit, no green card, going on 10 months, applied through marriage base. Then I'm not sure if you haven't heard anything, then you might need to check with your attorney. If you don't have one, it's time to seek legal advice. I sent my paperwork 9 months now, and they asked for more evidence. I sent it. What do you think will happen? You will get an answer. It's usually a decision after a request for evidence. NVC and expedited case status say ready. How long for interview in Jamaica? Still could be a couple of months. So even though they've expedited it, you could still be looking at a few months to get the interview. I sent my paperwork 9 months now, and they asked for more evidence, and I sent it. What do you think? Maybe a decision. It depends on what kind of case you have. All right, that's going to be it for me. Thanks so much for all your questions. I appreciate it. I'll be back again, hopefully tomorrow. It's been really busy, but I really do want to make time. So we'll come back tomorrow where we can continue to talk. I can answer your questions and, I can bring a good topic to you. So thanks again, everyone, for your time and patience. And lover of God Watson, you're very welcome. Have a good day. Bye bye.